Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I usually have the honor of hosting Spoken Ink, so it's really fun and exciting for me to be able to get to share some of my work with you today. A lot of my poetry does deal with a lot of darker themes, a lot of losses and difficult times that I have gone through, but also deal with the theme of trying to become more myself and try to become more accepting of who I am. So the first one that I'm going to read deals with those themes. And this one is called My Untangling. Along the way to purgatory, my path veered, and I found myself in a thicket of edged brambles, intertwined with contrition over long past illusions I have held of mending versions of myself. Sharp and pointed memories slice into me, and all the false moves I have constructed are unlocked and open. There is nowhere to hide from them anymore. They pour into my awareness with their suffocating tentacles, grasping with attempts to drown me, bright and stinging, smarting. I do not take heed. I barge through, lacerating my skin, hearing the mutilated past tear away from my bones, not to be put back together, ever. I set it free. To begin the act of releasing old songs that no longer need to play themselves out in my mind, their timbres dancing among the synapses, quick stepping to the rhythm of rumination, waltzing to the beat of what if. I am weakened, though, by these movements. I wolf down a meal of crow that sticks in my throat as I gaze upon my choices that have led me to this place, those that should probably be forgotten now. I pretend they are only ethereal dreams that came and went, surreal and unreal to the truth of this moment in time, a putative reality that fades away with each step taken as if it never really was. As I traverse this new terrain, these thoughts still prod me, following me, nagging like an uncomfortable and rough tag in my shirt, rasping against my neck to remind me of its presence, scratching at the membrane of the back of what is me. With each step forward through the prickly pronged path, I feel everyone shoot through my body like a sudden cramp, one that seizes me with its acuteness, stops me in my tracks, my progression halted, drawing me backwards. As I push this new birth out into my world, breathing with the contractions of fear, I must allow this life to emerge without struggle, propel out of me as if thrust by a booster, its strength enough to envelop me, become me, to untangle me before I am put back together, yet different now. The next one I will do is one that I attempted to be on a bit of the lighter side, so that all my poetry wasn't sort of going along the same depressing themes. So this one is called Frogs. I vividly remember the final scene in the movie Magnolia, you know, where the frogs rain down. The suddenness of it gripped me, a stark image of one sliding down the windshield and thousands of bodies let loose in a torrent. I wonder what that would feel like. Cold, slippery bodies cascading down around me. Would one stay on my head, grasp on with sticky appendages, leave a cap of slime that drips down my face, clings to my skin? Would there be enough to knock me flat, laying on the ground, drowning in bellies? Would some go in my mouth, gag me, a leg slip in between open lips? This happens. I mean, scientifically, this happens. Creatures fall from the sky, and not just frogs. Fish are the most common, I've learned. Worms, squids, all picked up by waterspouts, carried long distances until, boom, the water is released and it rains and rains. Some might even think we had a plague. Isn't that amazing? The image of frogs being caught in a storm, whirling inside, carried through the sky, then coming down in a deluge. The destruction and panic that ensues. And also pain. The pain of hard bodies slapping and hitting, needing to run to safety from something considered harmless, something that seems impossible. I imagine how that would disturb the mind from then on. the memories, reliving the ghastly experience over and over, the astonishment, scars left as reminders. But to be part of such a rare occurrence would be breathtaking. I would take any fear, any pain there is for frogs to rain on me. Next one I'll read is back to my normal theme. And this one came about when there was an artist who got people to do anonymous confessions onto a website. And then she would paint what she came up with and then had poets come and read what they write and read what they found from the art. And the one that really stuck out to me was called Danger is My Middle Name. And this is what I wrote. She fills the void with fire, breathed out through her loins, writhing with the ecstasy of the need that moves her beyond stagnation, springing forth, compulsion that stirs in the heart of those of us that deviate against our will. Dragged along by well-meant intentions, she knows too well a life lived that is not her own. Strength can now pour forth from this wanting state. She rises up to greet life's summons with defiance born of necessity, denouncing those that attempt to direct her down roads that do not fit her map. Her instability becomes dynamite, the fuse lit and sizzling down, breaking her apart into tiny shards that erupt mercilessly. Now that she has nothing, is nothing, she can be reborn. Absolution is found in this no man's land of confusion, where firmness and resolve now emanate. She says with no words that she has changed fatally. Take warning, danger has become my middle name. Then I'm going to move on to another one that deals with loss. And I had lost a partner back in 2009, and then, other losses after that. And then in 2015, I lost my Chihuahua Bella, who I had a very, very strong bond with, and it was very sudden. And what always struck me with huge losses is how wonderful denial can be. And it's actually a really nice spot to be before you hit, before it becomes reality and before you really realize that that's gone. And so I wrote a poem about that period of denial, and it's called The Sweet Spot of Shock. A long drawn out sigh, a moment held still. I bathed luxuriously in the fog of shock, wrapped in the comfort of denial. That brief period of time before I awakened by fist, flattened by one punch, laying prone on the mat, numbers being counted down overhead, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. For now, my eyes are obscured. Words swim in front of me, dizzying, an off-balance world frozen but moving. Feeling the earth spin on its axis, I may fall into space as the law of gravity no longer applies to me. I am groundless. I have not yet stepped forward. I am still back in corners where reality can't show its face, seek me out as I hide in a game I can't win. Feel the sensation of separation from grief. The bridge spans to the opposite side in front of me. I won't step on. I have been anticipating its arrival. The other side is a good distance away now, but it will slowly move towards me. The gap will creep closed. If I do not go to it, it will come to me, crushing the bridge that separates until it is right at my feet, an accordion whose pipes are rusty and cracked, squealing as it crumbles. But I can make it come to me. I can postpone its arrival, turn away from it once here, to prolong it, have it stay surreal, because I can handle surreal. Why can't one stay there if it makes it easier? So I tread water. It is too deep to sink down into. When dealing with loss and difficult times, as I mentioned, when my partner passed away, I had to move. And at the time, I continued to suffer from a couple different chronic pain syndromes. And there was one that had me walking with a cane for a long time. It was very hard to, work. And so when I was left on my own, it was quite a shock. And I moved into a new place and to get a new start. And I was befriended by a neighbor that turned out to be a pretty horrible person and did a lot of damage to me and my life and just really targeted me. And so I wrote, at some point, I was able to write a little bit more about it and write about the experience. And I know I have a lot of people come and talk to me when I read this poem because, they've had an experience like that with somebody who, it's a hard life lesson to realize that not everybody is going to be a good person and not everybody can be trusted. And so this was the poem that I wrote. And it's called Dancing with a Sociopath. They smell you, I think, almost like prey. No, exactly like prey. They look for you, your type, seek you out. Kindness is like candy to them. Jelly beans of all colors of naivety waiting to be consumed voraciously, filling empty pits of twisted needs. A Wonka factory where sitting ducks replaced the Oompa Loompas, their song silenced. Target practice is now the dance. Where softness of character is like a T-bone steak sizzling on a distant barbecue, its scent breaking through erected barriers to fill the neighborhood, hit the nose of strangers, its tantalizing scent revealing every cell, unable to be misjudged for anything other than what it is. I have no protection from this assault. The stick clasped tightly in my hand will not guard me. No, it weakens me instead. A visual cue of my vulnerability garishly displayed. It says, I am less than you, no worthy opponent, but ready and ripe to be picked at and defeated. Tested, I proved to be even flimsier, so easy to manipulate and bend. My own needs do not matter, I silently scream out with my body. I will bow, and quickly, I will not resist. And even when I do, it will be quietly, hesitantly, always thinking of you first, your feelings, your reasons, trying to find reasons to rationalize that which can't be reasoned away. I feel as a prisoner might against those that guard, that mock and torment, yet hold the key, holding power as a sword that slices through humanity, reducing it to rubble to be cleaned away by those from whom it springs. I am this rubble. I watched it crumble gradually, achingly, and did nothing. I saw that first crack and I looked away, even as it grew to make a fragile pattern of deep gorges filled with seething anger that burst their seams, spreading outward to shatter. Those cracks I saw, but patched with cowardice, twisted into excuses of trying to understand. I did not see that once you are fully in the dance, you are pinned. I did not see that the escape was opening wider and wider, begging me to fly through the doorway and be free. I did not see, or yet I pretended not to see. My blindness to what I knew changed everything. Late at night, I hear the words, you knew better, you knew, circling around my mind. That is the worst part of the steps, the knowing. The knowing it didn't have to be that way. I didn't have to be this way. I knew. I heard the alarms, saw the sirens, yet still thought I could keep going in that direction with just a slight detour, that I was strong enough. I wasn't strong enough. Yet now the dance has ended, and each move stole more and more until I am just a shadow of years before, left only with self-recrimination and the destruction wrought, traumatized and afraid to trust. afraid of my own judgments, and worst of all, afraid of the memories, for they will not fade, and I am no stronger yet. The last one that I will do came from an event called MASH Poetics, where a band or a singer is picked, and they have an in-house band that will play all the songs, and they get poets to write to the song. So I was given a song by Death Cab for Cutie called Tiny Vessels. And it's about a guy that, tells a woman that he's in love with her, but really he's not. And he knows that he's just lying to her. And so I used some of the lines from it. I also took from my own experience that I've had that the song reminded me of and made me think of, and also just from experiences that women I know I've had, and so some of the more general things that I've heard. So sort of an amalgamation of all that. This is Tiny Vessels. I'm beautiful, but I don't mean a thing to you. I knew this amid the confusion, your words morphing into the intensity of our flesh meeting, our only means of communication, a means to tell you that I'm beautiful, but I don't mean a thing to you. I am pretty and smart and funny, you say, but I don't mean a thing to you. My touch is perfect, knowing every inch, every desire. You touch my skin, set it on fire, but it was vile and cheap pheromones released in a moment. Lying still in the morning to watch you run, so I run too. The voice that yells at me, I'm not good enough for you. I'm never good enough for you. I've binded myself for years now, held on so tight I choke on the memories, to never forget how to read between the lines, remember to pay attention to the aloofness I was supposed to have seen. The truth was unspoken, you say, straightforward, though it was never straightforward to me. Honesty through actions, you told me, but those are always open to interpretation, and we can't talk about it now. My sight skewed by years of rejection since the beginning, slow changes blanketed by old wounds. To know that it comes from a place I don't understand, hidden deep enough to keep me separate as I erect my barriers higher and higher. But what choice do I have? You shouldn't have told me the truth if you wanted me to believe the lies. The cruel irony to keep the pain fresh so to not feel it again, the silence so to not hear those words, feel the humiliation, but then run right into the very thing I was trying to avoid. It came full circle from those silent signs not read, not interpreted as they are meant, as this time they were different. I didn't see as evolve, only the past and what was the same, self-sabotage disguised as self-protection. I couldn't read the new signs you sent, which words to take in and which to throw away. Our perceptions so different, each seen in the same way for different reasons. All the times I moved away, not knowing if I was breaking what was slowly being built. I held us back, you say, but it's too late to talk about it now, because I'm beautiful and I did mean a thing to you. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. It has been absolutely a pleasure. And yeah, thanks again. Really wonderful.